Hello everybody, so today I'm going to be doing a video on my favorite concealers, and I did a video about this, well not about concealers, but about foundations, and it was really popular. You guys seem to like it, and you guys just, I guess, like to know my opinions. So I'm going to just talk about what my favorite concealers are, and most of these are drugstore. Actually, there's only 2 concealers in this video that are higher end. So I'm kind of a drugstore girl. Most of you guys know that, but if you're new to my channel, I just tend to gravitate towards drugstore. I like a bargain. I don't like to spend a ton of money on high-end stuff just because that's just kind of the person that I am. So plus I have a ton of makeup, so I feel guilty when I spend too much money on even more makeup. So I'm just a drugstore girl. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. So the first concealer is something that I've actually purchased twice, and the first time, actually, when I first bought the concealer, I didn't like it, and I think it was in a products I regret buying video when I first bought it. And then I kind of started to warm up to it, and then now I love it, and I'm on my second tube. So it just goes to show that sometimes your first impression isn't always correct, and now I love it. So it is the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer, and it's the one in the tube. I think this is the only one in the Fit Me line. And it is just a doe foot applicator concealer, and I love this concealer for like highlighting under my eyes to give that highlighted look, like if you're going for that really dramatic like glam look. And I get the shade 15 Fair Claire, and it just looks like this. And I feel like if you apply it under your eyes and then kind of let it sit for just a little bit and then take your Beauty Blender sponge and then blend it out, it gives the most beautiful highlighted effect. Is really good coverage, so it doesn't just kind of blend out and fade into your skin. Like, you have the highlighted effect even after you blend it out, which I think is really important because I've tried to do the highlighted effect with other concealers that are a little bit lighter coverage and just like kind of more sheer, and it doesn't work as well. So I feel like this really works for that if you're looking for a good concealer for that kind of highlighted cheekbone effect that's really popular right now. Alright, so the next concealer is actually another concealer that I didn't like at first. Like, the first couple of times I tried it, I wasn't too sure, but I did find a way that made it work extremely well for me, and it made me just kind of fall in love with it, and it's one that I use on a regular basis now. So this is the Instant Age Rewind by Maybelline. So this concealer is actually a little bit more on the sheer consistency. So if you like concealers that aren't really, really heavy and just a little bit more dewy, I guess you could say, I would say this one is really good for you. Now, if you want this to be more, you know, opaque, you could definitely make it that way as well. So what I do when I apply this is I apply it under my eyes in like an upside down triangle, and I let it sit. Usually I'll do like my eyebrows while it's sitting on my skin. Once I have my eyebrows finished, I just take a damp Beauty Blender sponge and I blend it out, and it gives the most perfect, flawless coverage ever. But if you don't let it sit and you just apply it and then take your Beauty Blender and blend it out while it's still really fresh, then you'll get a more sheer look. So it's really good if you kind of like to do different things on different days. If you like the heavy look some days, sheer look other days, this one is really great for that. Alright, next is one that I really love. This is also a drugstore concealer, and this is, sorry if these are really dirty, you guys. Like I said, I love these concealers, and so I use them on a regular basis, so they're extremely dirty. They're just like sitting in my makeup bag. But this is the Revlon Photo Ready Concealer, and it's in kind of like a lipstick type of packaging, and I love this concealer, you guys. Now, I like lighter toned concealers, and this is really, really good for the highlighted effect as well. But you could also get it just to cover up your dark circles if you want to get one that kind of matches your skin tone. But I really like this. This works really, really well. It's more of an opaque, matte type of finish. It's not going to give you that dewy look. And I also really like to use this for contour. So I have one in 2 shades darker than this, and I just put it on my contour areas like my, you know, cheekbones, my temples, underneath my chin, and sometimes my nose if I want to do my nose. And then I just blend it out, and it gives me a really nice contoured look. Love this, and like I said, this is probably one of the most matte concealers that I own, and it just doesn't give you that dewy look if you really like that matte finish like I do. So this is the L'Oreal True Match Crayon Corrector, and I use the color Fair Light. This one is just a never fail concealer. It's something that always works for me. Like, if I'm traveling somewhere, this one always goes in there because I just know it works really well, and it's just a perfect concealer for me. And this is just like a jumbo pencil type of crayon, and you can twist the bottom and it just raises up the concealer like that. And this, like I said, is also a pretty matte concealer. And I would say this one has a little bit more coverage than the Revlon one that I just showed you. The thing I like about this one is I feel like it's a little bit more on the yellow side like warmer toned rather than like an ashy color. So this is really good for covering up under eye circles because it does have that warmer tone to it, so it like cancels out the purpley blues of an under eye circle. So that's why I really like this. I just think it makes my under eyes look really nice. So this is one that never fails, and I think this is like my second crayon, so I use it a lot. It's absolutely disgustingly dirty. So this one is Hide the Blemish Concealer by Rimmel, and the only thing I dislike about this one is the packaging. It's extremely cheap packaging, and it has one of those plastic caps that like break, especially if you carry these in like your makeup bag. They always just crack and break, and that's what I dislike about this. But I love the actual concealer. I find that the concealer works really, really well, and it just looks like a lipstick, like a nude lipstick. But it's an amazing concealer. I actually used it today under my eyes and like down the center of my face. It's like the perfect middle ground. It's not light coverage and it's not heavy coverage. It's like a nice middle ground for every day. It's not too dewy and it's not too matte. Okay, so I've been using this non-stop lately. It works amazing and it's super, super cheap, guys. It's like ridiculously cheap, and that's what I love. Rimmel makes amazing face products, just so you guys know. I love their Stay Matte Powder, their Stay Matte Foundation. This is really good. Rimmel just has their skin line down perfectly. So definitely try this. This is one of my favorites, and it's extremely cheap. So I really, really like this stuff. So, all right, so my last drugstore favorite would be the Hard Candy Glamouflage Concealer. And this is at Walmart. You can get Hard Candy at Walmart. The thing I like about the Glamouflage is it's extremely heavy coverage. You literally need like hardly any, and you're gonna get like a full coverage finish under your eyes. It's almost kind of reminds me of the Obsessive Compulsive Lip Tars, where you do like a tiny little drop and it literally covers everything. It's like that. So if you're going for that extreme cover, like if you're trying to cover a tattoo, like it would cover a tattoo, this is for you. It's just a really fun product to use, and I think it's good to have this in your collection if you are looking for extreme coverage, you know, like if you just want that really heavy makeup look. This is awesome, and I use it all the time. And you guys have seen in like some of my contour videos, this is the concealer that I use for under my eyes to get that highlighted effect in some of those videos. So I really like this. The only issue with this is it's a little on the ashier side. So if you have a really, really warm skin tone, this may not work well for you, but it works for me, I find. I don't really, you know, dislike the color on my skin, so it's something that's worth a try, but it's really cheap, so you can't really go wrong with that. It's not like you're gonna be wasting a ton of money. And it's a lot like the Kat Von D, what is it called? Like the tattoo cover one. It's like that, but like the drugstore version, I feel like. So, all right, so now for the higher end ones. Now, both of these are actually from MAC. I love MAC concealers. I think MAC concealers are really awesome. And this one has to be one of my favorites. And this is the MAC Studio Finish Concealer, and it comes in a little pot like this. I love this one because I feel like it covers my dark circles extremely well, and I think it's because it's warm. So I got NC35. I like these because they do cover up dark circles. So they have like that salmon undertone that really cancels out your under eye circles. So if you're looking for something that's not necessarily highlighting, definitely give this a try. I think it works really, really well for that purpose, and I definitely like that sometimes. Like, for example, I went to a bachelorette party like a couple weekends ago, and you really have to think about if you're gonna be somewhere that may have flash photography. And I made this mistake because I used to do this in high school all the time, because back in high school, everything was flash photography. Like those little like cameras that you'd wind up and take a picture, those were always flash. Like you just didn't take pictures without the flash back then. And I remember I would have like these white under eye circles. Like I looked like a raccoon with white concealer on. And it's because the flash reflects against your makeup. And if you wear like those highlighting concealers that I was talking about earlier, you're gonna have that problem. And I had that problem in all those bachelorette pictures. I did the highlighting makeup, and in a lot of the pictures we did flash because we were in a dark club. So in a lot of the pictures I have a really light look under my eyes, and it does not look very good. So I wish that I would have gone with a concealer more like this that just kind of covered up my dark circles versus a really extreme highlight. So that's a good thing to remember. You know, if you're gonna be out maybe like a dark wedding venue at night, you might want to go with something more like this versus like a highlighting concealer or something like that. So that's a really good thing to remember, and something that I'm going to try to remember more in the future, because, you know, sometimes you just don't think, and yeah. So, okay, last but not least is this one. This is the MAC Pro Longwear Concealer. This one is different. Like this one is one that I'm kind of indifferent on, but it's still really good. It has really good coverage. The only thing I dislike about this foundation is the packaging. When you squirt it out onto your hand, it squirts out too much product, and I feel like I waste a lot of it because it's such heavy coverage. You hardly need any, and you always get too much when you squirt this onto your hand. So that's the only downside of this concealer is the packaging, but the coverage is super, super good. I got the color NC20. Great coverage. It's definitely on the more liquidy side. It's not a cream concealer, which I tend to gravitate towards cream concealers, honestly. Like these three here are all cream. I just feel like they have really, really nice coverage. But this is more of a liquid, and it's nice. It's high coverage. You just have to be extremely careful, otherwise you get too much and it can look really, really heavy. So my favorite tool for concealer is actually the Beauty Blender sponge. I have never liked concealers with brushes. I feel like it just takes too long. It doesn't blend it out very easy. So either I use my fingers and just kind of blend it in and pat it in with my fingers, or I use the wet Beauty Blender. And the Beauty Blender is amazing because it gives you the most flawless coverage. It blends everything nicely into your foundation, and it's just amazing. So that is it, guys, for this video. I hope it was kind of helpful, and I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I've been wanting to do this concealer video for a long time, but I just didn't want to like forget any or anything like that. So let me know in the comments below if there's any concealers in this video that you love, or what your favorite concealer is and why. And then also check the lower bar because I'm going to have links to like a bunch of other videos, like my favorite foundations and stuff like that. So if you want to watch another video from me, I'll put some links to some that are kind of relating to this one down below so you guys can check it out. And I think that's it, guys. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. I would love to have you here. And I think that's it, guys. Don't forget to thumbs it up, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.